Welcome to Swift Playground's Learn to Code 1. As I discussed in class well before the break and before, all this stuff happened, Swift is kind of a language of the future. It's basically a distillation of all the things that were good about Java and C and just, update some stuff that really needed updating because those languages have been with us for a long time. So if you want to learn Java or C, learning Swift will certainly help you because the syntax is almost exactly the same. Programming is kind of programming. It doesn't matter which language you learn. Once you learn the basics of programming, you can apply it in any situation that you want. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the tutorials for Learn to Code 1. Starting with the commands one, which was due before the break, but only 2 of you submitted it. So I would suggest that you can probably all benefit from a refresher. And also that if you don't have an iPad, can't run the Swift Playgrounds app, you need to get hold of me or your instructor by email, and we'll work something out. So anyway, when you launch Learn to Code 1 on Swift Playgrounds, you get this little questionnaire about have you ever followed a recipe to bake something delicious or followed instructions that assemble something cool. You need to follow instructions in the correct order or you get something unexpected, like you didn't put your drone together right and it crashes out of the sky. So writing code allows you to carry out your own set of instructions. And your goal is to figure out which instructions in which order are going to result in something great. So this guy over here, this is Byte, and he's the character in this sort of video game we're going to be playing that is going to teach you the basics of computer code. Okay, so you'll start by writing commands to move a character named Byte around in a puzzle world performing tasks. This is a command, move forward here, that tells Byte to move forward. A couple of things about commands. I think the tutorial is going to lead us through this in a second, but I'll just explain it now. Commands are in something called Pascal case, which means that because computer programs don't separate words with spaces, and a lot of times you see underscores and other strategies, dots and stuff used for that, when for efficiency's sake, when we're putting a computer command that has more than one word in it, the initial letter is not capitalized, but any other word, so if it's a 2 or 3 word command, is capitalized. This is called Pascal case, named after a mathematician named Blaise Pascal, and they named a computer language after him too, which is the first one that used this. Also, sometimes you'll hear it called camel case, because it's got like a hump in the middle. Cool, eh? And then at the end of the command word, there's going to be these 2 brackets. For now, they're going to be empty, but later they might contain something called parameters for the command. But that's later. Okay, this is a command called collect gem, which tells Byte to collect the gem. Okay, so now here it talks about it. Code is punctuated and spaced like human languages, and they always end in parentheses, and you'll see why later. See, I already covered that. Okay, so when we start coding, we get a special puzzle over here on the right-hand side of the screen. It takes a minute or 2 to load up. And on the left-hand side of the screen, this is an area where you enter your code. So we're waiting for the puzzle world to be populated. And it's got some groovy music there. If you go up here to the little arrow, you can turn it off, because we don't need to hear music while I'm talking. Oh, there. And I'm going to turn off the sound effects too. Okay, so this is Byte. You can scroll around in Byte's puzzle world by sort of grabbing on it, and so you can look at it from different angles so that you can see that the playboard that Byte lives in is kind of gridded out. You see these things that look like tile squares over here, over here. When you're telling Byte to move, when you tell Byte to move forward, he will by default move forward 1 square. So if I click here to enter code, you'll see that suggestions for code come up down at the bottom. Now, if you're using an iPad, they'll be down at the bottom in the middle of the screen. I'm using a Mac for this, which is very handy because I can capture the screen and stuff. These are the suggested code words. I'm going to choose move forward, and it puts it down here in the area where the code is. And then when I want to execute the code, meaning carry out the instructions I've put here, you do these commands in order, I press run my code. And I do that, we're going to see Byte execute the code. He simply does what I asked, moves forward one space. Now, that's not what we want Byte to do. The objective of the game is to get Byte to collect the gem. So when I ran the code, he only moved one space forward. How many spaces does he have to go? Looks like 3 to me. I hope it looks like 3 to you. So if I tell Byte to move forward again, move forward a third time, and I run the code, he should reset. Takes a minute or two. This is, not super speedy. So he moves forward 3 spaces. But he doesn't do anything else because I haven't yet told him that he needs to collect the gem at the end of the code. So I've now changed the code to tell Byte to move forward, and collect the gem. Run the code, and he should reset 1, 2, 3 spaces forward, collects the gem, and Byte's very happy. Look at him jumping up and down. He loves it. Okay, so next page. This gives us another puzzle, and each puzzle is going to be solved with a different set of commands. So here's Byte. Now you can change Byte. There are a couple of other characters. I think if you long press on Byte, you'll get some choices. There we go. I think this guy's name is Blue. I don't know what this guy's name is, but Byte here, he's my favorite because he looks like a thumb. So I'm going to choose him again. But you can customize this a little bit. So in this case, I'm going to have to enter some code that's going to have Byte moving forward and then turning and then moving forward again to go get the gem. So I click to enter the code. Okay, I'm going to help you with this one, and then you are going to be on your own for the rest of the tutorial. I'm going to tell Byte that he should move forward. So that'll put him here. Move forward again. That'll put him here. Then I think he needs to turn left. Do I have a command that says turn left? Look, I have one available to me. Turn left. So now he'll be facing this way. He should move forward 2 more times. And then he should collect the gem. Okay, I can also change the speed at which Byte moves around the course down here. I can have him run faster, run fastest. I can have him go slow and step through, or step through it even more slowly. So I want it to go a little faster because it's taken a little bit of time. And there he goes, and he gets the gem. There we go. Awesome stuff. Now, there are a number of tutorials in number 1 here. Introduction, issuing commands, adding new commands, toggling a switch, portal practice, finding and fixing bugs. Bugs are problems in your code, and they happen all the time, and they're actually named after an actual bug. The first big computer that we talked about in class, ENIAC, was the size of a pretty large room and used a huge amount of electricity. One day it was not operating as it should, and they spent quite an amount of time troubleshooting their program instructions and the things that could be wrong, and they found that an actual moth had died inside of the computer, causing a short in a circuit, making it behave in a way that they didn't expect. So now, anytime that your computer program behaves in a way that you don't expect, we say that your code has a bug. It just means that you've created some sort of error that the computer doesn't understand, or you've put code in that does work, but doesn't accomplish the goal that you set it out to do, which is these are called software bugs. So for your introduction to Swift Playgrounds, and I know that 20 of you still need to submit this work, you're going to have to do all of these tutorials here, right up until the shortest route. And to prove that you have done that work, I want you to take a screen capture from your iPad. I believe that's done by pressing the home button and the power button at the same time, and it should take a screen capture. You can then upload the screen capture to the Dropbox. Yeah, when it asks what file, you just tell it to go to your camera roll, and it'll be the last picture that you took. So do all of these tutorials today and hand them in. I will mark them for you. I mean, really, it's a mark for completion. If I see the green dot, I know you've completed it. I don't know exactly what code you put in, but pretty much there's only one way to solve each of these puzzles. If you happen to get done and you feel like moving ahead, you can start doing functions, but I will put the lesson for functions up tomorrow. If you have trouble, I do have a meeting scheduled at 1 o'clock this afternoon through 2:30, but I will be answering emails before and after that. It's tawilson@hwdsb.on.ca. Thanks very much. I hope you're safe and well, and I look forward to seeing your submissions today.